final installment of the Terminator franchise just came out this past weekend, so now it's time to talk Simply Cinema. Hello everyone, I hope you're having a cinematastic day. I'm Josh, this is Simply Cinema, and before we begin my review, I'd love to hear your takes on it down in the comments below. Was it good? Was it horrible in the franchise? And does it live up to any of the other movies? And if you're new here, Simply Cinema is a channel and community where we just love talking about only movies and sharing our opinions, trying to understand those that have different opinions than ours. So if that floats your boat, then please consider hitting that subscribe button and joining this community. Terminator Dark Fate continues the Terminator franchise as this newly modified liquid Terminator comes back in time to kill Dani Ramos, a young factory worker. But to make sure she's protected, a hybrid human cyborg is also sent back in time named Reyes, and she is willing to help protect her, but they also need the help from Sarah Connor and the T-800 Terminator who come to help them on their side. Anyways, the positives, Terminator Dark Fate had so much surprises and is probably one of the biggest surprises of 2019 so far. There's a couple other movies in that boat, but this really held a ton of action that I did not expect, a ton of cinematography that took things in different ways, and the story wasn't completely predictable. If you're not a huge fan of the retconning of other things, then really this whole franchise as a whole will not work for you, because with all the time travel and how that works, the logic behind it, there's gonna be retconning as long as you keep continuing the franchise. There can easily be another movie, but it doesn't seem like it will be that way. It feels like this is a conclusion with where they took this movie, and it was just so well crafted. The action was pretty much non-stop. You get so many different settings within the fights. You get fights in the sea, you get fights on land, and you get fights even on an airplane, and it's just insane the way they're able to make all of these different locations flow together just right. That makes it believable and makes it suspenseful, and you don't quite know exactly where every character will end up. And while some little things are predictable within the film with certain moments, and this being the conclusion of the franchise, I was still quite surprised. I was still very entertained within all of the mix and where they took each and every little moment and each character. I really have to say this was a surprising movie. Going into the theater, I completely forgot that this was directed by Tim Miller, who directed Deadpool, and I definitely saw his directing, because as the credits roll and I saw his name, I'm like, I totally should have expected that and remembered that. But so if you love the Deadpool movies, and really the action within, you'll really love this one. And the story involved, it retcons some of the older things, of course, with the time travel and how all that works, but I really just love it. And I don't necessarily get bothered by the way they shift things in time, because it kind of is allowed to work in that way. So I really excuse that and don't necessarily let that bother me, because it's just another good story with another fun set of action and characters. And the return of Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger in their respective roles of Terminator and Sarah Connor is just a bunch of fun. And the way we get these new set of cast members and characters of Mackenzie Davis as Grace and Natalie Reyes as Dani, and they just really are well crafted in a way you can understand their roles. Their responses to different situations in different times are believable, in a sense that they have to understand what they are really up against and who they really have to trust within the situation. And that's what makes it really fun and enjoyable as the story moves on. Not to negatives, these are more nitpicks than anything, but there were some slow moments that sort of interrupted the fast, quick action pace of the movie, and it took it in a way that you weren't sure how it was going to end up. You didn't know if the rest of the film was going to fall flat within certain moments. And in those moments, it's really where it slowed down and didn't necessarily bring you the urgency of understanding the story. But really, fortunately, it ended up good. But there were some moments where it just toned down a little bit with what it was trying to do and didn't necessarily work quite as well for me. But also with Gabriel Luna as the Terminator, I really gotta give him some slack on his work because you can't quite beat Arnold Schwarzenegger, who has been in quite a bit of these movies, and having that stone faced Terminator look. He plays his job quite decently, not quite as good. These were just my personal thoughts on this film, and I'd love to hear yours down in the comments below. Let me know, what did you think of it, how it fits in with the rest of the Terminator franchise. And speaking of which, pretty soon I'll be ranking all 6 Terminator movies from the worst to the best. So you don't want to miss that. If you're new here, click that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And I'll be back for more movie reviews, rankings, and more on the way.